what does it mean to go beyond family scapegoating abuse? And is it even possible? That's what I'll be talking about in this video. I hope you'll join me. Hi, welcome to my new channel, Beyond Family Scapegoating Abuse. I'm Rebecca Mandeville, psychotherapist and complex trauma professional, and the author of Rejected, Shamed, and Blamed: Help and Hope for Adults in the Family Scapegoat Role. So what am I really saying when I say go beyond family scapegoating abuse? I'm saying going beyond the symptoms of family scapegoating abuse, going beyond the pain, going beyond, for some, the constant rumination, remembering events, going over conversations over and over, what someone said, what you wish you'd said, going beyond being crippled by symptoms of complex trauma, betrayal trauma, going beyond the wreckage of what happened to you and your family so that you can get a new vehicle, so to speak, get back on the road and live a life that you love. And it is possible. But whether you limit contact, go no contact, still have contact, you still have the ability to move through the stages that I've identified both in my clinical practice and also via my research on FSA that lead to healing and recovery. And I outlined some of those in my book. And there's other stages that I know just from working with people for so long that people go through, and these stages aren't linear. They are nonlinear, and they can occur at the same time. But there's definite stages. I'm able to identify when someone comes to me where they are, and some people, when they come to me, basically feel like roadkill. And so they're on that end of the spectrum. They don't have any sense of that healing and recovering from this is even possible. And I have to say to them something I heard from one of my Tai Chi teachers: believe nothing, entertain possibilities. Let me carry the hope for you that you can heal from this until you can take on that hope and carry it for yourself. And then I have people who, I have actually a lot of psychologists, therapists come to me to work with me in my practice. There's a reason why therapists often end up being the scapegoat in their family. Gee, I have so many videos to do, don't I? And I'm working on being able to do longer videos. But I do have a lot of therapists in my practice, and they have a lot of the intellectual understanding of what happened to them, especially if they have family systems background, but they may not have fully felt and worked through the emotions. And many have no idea at all that they're actually experiencing complex trauma symptoms. And it takes a while for me to break that lovely bit of news to them. And we can get on with our work in regard to identifying triggers and making, again, that safe space, which will include usually limiting contact with any family member that is triggering or actively abusive. It's very hard to heal from something if you're being constantly triggered. And then I'll have clients who think that they're way over on this side of the continuum, and they just need a bit of maybe psychoeducation from me, and then we're into working together for a few weeks, and they realize they're actually way over here, and there's a lot of healing to do because they may have been in some denial or unable, once again, to actually experience those emotions that need to be worked through, including grief, or in my book, what I labeled disenfranchised grief. I don't call it estrangement grief, as some people working with scapegoating do, for the reason that sometimes, quote unquote, estrangement was a deliberate choice on the scapegoated adult's part to end their relationships with abusive family members, which actually may be something that should be acknowledged and celebrated, that they're choosing their mental and emotional health. So I like to call it disenfranchised grief, because it's a grief that we don't get a lot of social support for. It's probably one of the loneliest things in the world to be scapegoated by your family. It's one of the only types of abuse I can think of where you go to tell someone, even a close friend or someone, a cousin, or, you know, someone you think cares about you in the family who would want to know, and you get the look, and you'll get often dismissed, or the kinds of questions you'll get make it clear that they think maybe you're not giving them the whole story. They may flat out deny that anyone in your family could be treating you that way, particularly if a parent is narcissistic and can put on a really good show for the outside world. So how many other kinds of abuse, once you realize it's abuse and you go out and want someone to know what's happening to you behind closed doors, so to speak, and you're just dismissed? As I often say to clients, there's no hashtag Me Too family scapegoating abuse adult survivor. There's even therapists out there that will say, you know, it's your family, you don't want to lose those connections. You know, let's find a way to work this out. So it's very isolating. It's very lonely. You know this if you are an FSA adult survivor and were a victim of it growing up, and perhaps still are. And that's why you will reach out for any kind of recovery resource, understandably. But be careful about doing a bypass. We want you in the car, so to speak, on the way to your new life of healing and wholeness, but you don't want to bypass the hard work of actually feeling the feelings and acknowledging the realities that need to be felt and acknowledged to really recover from this form of systemic abuse. Abuse that's invisible from your own family. We're programmed in that primitive reptilian brain back there, you know, without our tribe, without the herd, we're vulnerable. We could die. And I often get asked, why is it that I get scapegoated wherever I go? I had a lovely talk with a client who's a therapist about this yesterday. And I love the term she used, you know, we're cold out of the herd when we're scapegoated. We're cold out of the herd. We're vulnerable. Go watch Wild Kingdom and see what happens when one of the wild animals cold out of the herd by the predator, the lion or what have you. People pick it up on some primeval level that we're not protected. We're vulnerable. And many of us will have developed fawning behaviors as a trauma response and will fawn and submit to people that feel predatory. And then the scapegoating cycle can happen again. So I've covered a few things in here, little pieces that I'm going to build on in future videos. I want to say to you, yes, you can recover and heal from family scapegoating abuse. No, it's not easy. It's painful work to have to face some of these realities. What happened to you? Remember, I've worked with hundreds of people. And although I can't be with all of you in a room working with you as your therapist, there's many resources out there. There's quite a few people writing about this now in books, and there's therapists more and more are understanding what this is. I hope to start a training program for clinicians, and I've gotten a lot of interest for people who would like to do some sort of completed certification course with me on understanding how to help people with FSA. So help is on the way, but you also have to help yourself. And that means being open to the idea that you can heal from this. Because I receive a lot of messages from people saying that they can't. And there's always lots of reasons. Sometimes it's someone else's fault that they can't, or no one would ever understand that their scapegoating was more horrific than anyone else's, and they couldn't possibly recover from it. And that may all feel true, and some of it may be true. But there's still a way to go beyond. And that means you may have to make some changes and consider some possibilities and get pretty creative and be willing to reach out for help and maybe understand that you'll have to be on a waiting list, that there's not enough therapists right now in many states since the pandemic. But the point of this video today is to let you know that I've seen the people who come in to my office feeling like roadkill, and I've seen the miracle of healing and recovery happen. And my hope is to help you get resources so that you also can experience that healing and recovery. But you need to believe it's possible. And I hope you don't give up. I get letters from people in their 80s saying, maybe it's too late. Most of my family's dead. I may not be able to ever have the kind of resolution I wanted, but at least I understand what happened to me, and that brings me some peace. So don't underestimate the value of psychoeducation. Channels like this, or some of the books that are out there on family abuse. And I'll be building out on these topics that I've mentioned in today's video. So I hope you'll subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you're notified when I get the next video out on these things that I touched lightly on today. And if you like this video, there's a higher probability that YouTube will have it come up on the searches. And as I've mentioned before, there's a lot of people who are alone with this out there, and they need this information. So if you can tap on the thumbs up as well, I'd appreciate it. There'll be more coming from my new channel soon, Beyond Family Scapegoating Abuse. And I hope you're finding something of value in these videos. And if you are, please let other people know about them, post them on your forums, share on social media. And I thank you for your support.